My name is Michael Trout, and I'm making this video to explain to you the process and how to join the Open Incubator on LinkedIn and how to be part of what I'm doing, right? Because we're creating a collaborative framework. It's very similar to what Wikipedia is for encyclopedias. We're creating it for startups. Now, we're offering structure through our C Corp, FoundUps Corp, to provide basically an umbrella, or you think of it as an open incubator, to invite folks to become projects of our entity. Now, we're not trying, to gouge people or take advantage of people. What we're trying to do is change the system. Now, there is a small fee. It's $500 to basically be part of our corporation as a project, and ultimately you are abiding to our system, which means we will work with you and tell you when you're ready to launch, provided you meet certain mitigating milestones. You are a project of FoundUps Corp. Okay, so in essence, you do lose a little control. Just like when you put up a page on Wikipedia, you lose a little control, right? Editors can come in, people can change it, and so on. Our team can come in and help you craft it, but ultimately our interest is for you. Our interest is to help you launch and be successful, all right? So you may give up a little, but you gain a heck of a lot. You gain a global team. You gain access to a C corporation, which is it's the kind of corporation that investors want. So if you're in India, if you're in Africa, if you're in China, being able to say you're part of a C corporation is massive. Being able to say you have an international group of team members and advisors to help you launch your idea is massive. And understand that this team and group, once you meet certain mitigating milestones, are going to be the team and the group that's going to crowdfund your project. Okay, so we're right now launching this alpha on LinkedIn. We have every intention of rolling it out into our own once we hit 1,000 what's the term? 1,000 results. Okay, so right now we're at 30 results. In basically the 1 week of launching, we're at 30 results. I think I'm pretty, we're on 3 pages of LinkedIn, on our first week. 3 pages, I think that's significant, right? 30 results. So when we get to 1,000, and I need your help, and that's why I'm making this video, we're going to, do a couple things. We're going to launch as our own platform. We're going to take the lessons learned, and I've got a team of basically very top-notch programmers and others that are part of what I'm doing. I have systems architects, senior systems engineers, and we're looking at this process and what we're doing in order to roll out actually the perfect open incubator, right? So in many respects, think of what we're doing is very similar to Wikipedia. If you read my post, you'll notice, think of it this way in terms, a FoundUp is a collaborative framework. It's the page. Okay, so the Wikipedia page is the FoundUp. Okay, the person who starts the page is the founder, right? He's doing a FoundUp, right? The person who comes in and makes an edit and provides a little feedback or whatever, or aligns with the page, is the advisor. Now understand, an advisor for a FoundUp is very different from an advisor for a startup. Okay, we're using the same terms because the term exists, but you're advising. It's on you. We're not going to come to you and say we need this done or that done. It's completely passive, right? A team member, on the other hand, is an active. You're saying, I want to be part of this. Okay, I want to help you grow. I want to, be involved. And team members ultimately become. Think of them, they become the employees of the startup. They become board members of the startup. They become, part of when we launch into a startup. Because ultimately, FoundUps will become an institutional vehicle. When you incorporate, you are an institutional vehicle. So there's no way around it. So what we're doing is eliminating the institutional launch vehicle and introducing a collaborative launch vehicle that then basically becomes that institution when it's ready, when we know it's going to succeed. I don't know if you know, but basically, depends on how you do the numbers. It doesn't matter to me. Between 97 to 99% of startups fail. If you want to take the number from 14 million, which is the number of business plans submitted each year, and by the way, I think the number of failures is going to go significantly up because of the the hype of the Entrepreneur Revolution and Global Entrepreneur Week and Found Up Weekend and all of Startup Weekend and all the other stuff. There's tremendous hype, and it's not going to cause any more success. It's just going to create more failure, unfortunately. So all right. So you're like, okay, Mike, I'm interested. What I do? Okay, the first thing you're going to do is set up on LinkedIn your Found Up as a corporate connection. Now, LinkedIn has two ways for you to interact. You can have what I call a personal connection, and I don't call it a personal profile because you connect with that profile, right? You connect with it. So it's a connection. It's a personal connection. And you also have a corporate a profile. Now, the profile you can only connect to if you're an employee. So that's why I call it a profile. So I'm going to make a series of talks here and talk about each in more greater detail. But what you're going to do is look at FoundUps Corp, look at the what I call the corporate connection. Look at WikiTube, look at Help Japan Co. These are all corporate connections. FoundUps Corp, and then my name after it is a corporate connection. You're connecting to a corporate. Now, why is a corporate connection important? You're probably wondering. Well, for a number of reasons. First off, what a corporate connection does, it allows you to show allegiances, strategic partnerships with other organizations, and so on. So corporate connections are very important because you can now use LinkedIn to show a much broader picture of what you're doing. And especially if you're doing something like a startup, all right? You're going to, or a found up in our case, you're going to want to show, okay, who's your partners? Who's behind you? Do you have a channel partner? Who they are, right? So instead of rushing out and putting up a web page that really no one's going to go to it, you can actually use LinkedIn as part of that launch process to say, this is where I'm at. This is who's on my team. This is who's advising me. So what you're doing is actually building traction on a very micro level on the way that you're trying to get it to the startup. Now, understand, you've got to understand the difference between a found-up and a startup. And a startup is a legal entity. A found-up doesn't have to be. So you don't have to be a legal entity to be part of a found-up. A found-up is kind of, think of a found-up, like I said before, if you think in terms of Wikipedia, it's the page, the founder is the author of the page, the editor is the advisor of the page, and the administrator or the admin is the team member. And the entire process of the system that Wikipedia came up with, we call that the open-incubator framework. So what we're able to do is take that framework and we're superimposing it onto LinkedIn, right? We're creating the test bed. When we hit 1,000 results, we're going to launch it out. So you're joining part of our alpha. Now, there is a small fee if you want to be part of our alpha, and that's $500 a year. So our commitment is that we will launch you or try to get you launched within 1 year. Now, I don't know your project, but ultimately I will be able to validate your project for $500 in a number of different creative ways, and I'm going to share it with you. So if you want to do it on your own, do it on your own. Okay? What I want folks to understand this system so they can do it. You don't have to be part of FoundUps Corp. You could do it on your own, and I'm going to teach you how to do it on your own. All right? However, there's always strength in numbers, and $500 isn't a lot to spend. And to pay $500 to get access to a global network, to be positioned as part of a much bigger thing, to get access to a C corporation, alone is $500, right? Is great price. There's no one out there who's going to say, hey, I will put your project with my C corporation. I'm the only guy, right? And and I don't know if I'm not a nice guy. It's just I see the value, because why should we keep creating entities for our projects? We should have one entity, the best kind of entity that investors want to invest in, which is a Delaware C corporation, and put it in. And then when we roll you out as your own independent Delaware C corporation. Fancy that. And if you need me on the board, if you need me to do it as an American citizen to make it happen, and I will not take, I'm not going to take anything in your corporation and, for doing it. You've already paid me the $500. I'll take care of it for you. So it's not a big deal. We'll take care of it, Oscorp. So let's go back to the talk. So the thing is the first thing you're going to do is set up a corporate connection. Use my models. Now, as part of the $500, I do it for you, right? And there's ways of linking. If you there's certain things. If I do it, all of a sudden I'll attach you to our Twitter account, so you can Twitter through through FoundUps Corp. Twitter. You can I can like blast out and help crowd get the messages out. Now I use a very clever hack with LinkedIn, where basically what I can do is generate your profile, your new corporate profile, to 100, 200 followers very quickly. And I'm going to tell you what the hack is. It's simple. What I do is I create your profile. You've paid your $500, so you're part of team. I put my name on there. Here it is, Team Michael Trout, as the founder, right? Not the founder, as a team member. So then I invite my 3,000 connections or 2,500 connections on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I'm doing this, please link up. So I'm crowdsourcing you. I then go and move it to a next team member of FoundUp Corp. And I say, hey, do the same thing. Now, understand, when people respond to the email, I send them another email out. So every person responds and connects up to me. I say, hey, thanks a lot. What do you think of this project? Will you be an advisor? Question mark. Send. Very quick, right? So you send that out. Why do you send that out? Because now what you're doing is you're crowdsourcing those people that linked up into those that are actually interested in your project, or start cultivating it. And see, the thing is, you're going to move them from being a LinkedIn person to being an advisor to being a team member, all right? So the process is linear. Now, we'll do this. I'm doing this, I'll do this. We do this for organizations and other groups. We don't have to do it for FoundUps. But what this process does is allows you to really find out those stakeholders amongst a bigger picture. So another reason for the corporate connection is showing allegiances, as I said before. So I can basically show you as part of, FoundUps Corp. I can show you as a strategic partner. I can show you as an as a FoundUp. So if you go to FoundUps Corp, you can actually see, how that's set up. So we do some, what we're doing is really crowdsourcing everything and getting it, and getting all ready. So there's someone coming up to end this talk, and I'll pick it up on another one.